carpet. We're leaving for a couple of days, and the past 2 times we've been gone, Max has found a way to tear into this. So this is all I cat proofed it with cat tape. I think I did a pretty good job. Oh yeah. Apparently, Nashville's under a tornado watch till 11. I hope that doesn't affect our flight, because our flight leaves at like 10:30. We should be fine.
You got a boarding pass?
It's a video, but yeah.
Alright,
There you go, Jonathan. Have a good day.
Alright, through security, and now we're getting...
Once again, ladies and gentlemen, this is the final one of the boarding call.
I don't know. I think I'm right on this, but I could be wrong. I've said this before, but after getting TSA pre-check, our experience with, like, going through security and everything else was, it transformed. Like, it's so much nicer. It's like a borderline pleasure to go through security now. These are salads. It's cool packaging. That cashier spent a lot of time trying to get your name spelled correctly. You should get a shorter name like me.
John.
Now we're just waiting on our beans. We bought some to have, and we're getting them ground. We don't normally do that, but I think it's our first time using the machine. Totally fine. Just our flight boards at 9:55, and it's 9:10 right now. So we have just over half an hour. Pretty smooth, honestly. Wasn't sure what to expect after the whole debacle that Southwest had like a week ago. So far, no issues. There's some kind of alarm going off. I don't know if that's like an airport alarm or if that's it's raining pretty hard. Really hope our flight's not delayed or canceled because we have a connection, so hope I didn't speak too soon. If I had to put a percentage on it, I'm gonna say 50-50. Our flight's delayed. I've actually been delayed overnight in Phoenix, so if we do get delayed, then I do know where the good hotel is to stay. We're boarding now. I think our gate's actually right next to, like the gate we're going to is right next to the one we just came out of. We don't have enough time to get food, so we're improvising. We made it on the plane. Why is it the missing your flight? Like, that's the scariest, like, thing in the world. Like, in all reality, you'll get a new flight, you'll get there. It's just, in the moment, we're on the plane. It's great. And we have a whole row. But why is that?
On behalf of the flight crew at Southwest Airlines,
Oh, it's a street cred with that thing. It's like a Segway, but this is by far the weirdest baggage claim I've ever been to. One more. There it is. Oh, God. So while I was on the plane, I got some questions on a couple of like tips to how I like ship or how I travel with musical instruments when flying, and I felt since we traveled today that it was an appropriate time to talk about that. So 90% of the time when when everything goes the way it's supposed to go, I'm just gonna typically travel with cymbals and snare drums, mostly just because like the rest of the kit and hardware is normally covered by Backline, and Backline can be a dedicated like Backline company that their sole purpose is to just give people or instrumentalists what they need when they come into town, or it can just be like a church or literally some rando's kit that happens to match the specs of my particular Backline order. So in a perfect world, I'm gonna do just that. I'm gonna travel with my snare drum, my cymbals, and obviously my stick bag. But how do I actually transport that stuff from my home in Nashville to my destination, wherever that may be? And I have a system that I typically use that works for me. I know some of my friends do something similar. It's honestly not that difficult. For my stick bag, actually as ghetto as this sounds, 90% of the time it's sitting in one of my suitcases, just because my snare drum case doesn't fit it and kind of cram it into wherever it fits. And that kind of leads me to the snare drum and cymbals. So I use SKB cases for everything, mostly just because there was one time I watched this happen. I was in the plane, watching them unload my cases down the little conveyor belt thing from the belly of the plane, and the guy unloading them picks it up, throws it, and completely misses the cart, and it hits the concrete, cracking the top. When I messaged SKB about that, they actually sent me a new top, so like no charge. So because of that, I've always been a big advocate of SKB cases. So my cymbals are, if I can find the specific model, I'll link it down below, but it's a cymbal SKB case that you can roll, which I never use the wheels, but it's hard-sided and it keeps everything like safe. And then for the snare drum case, it's just gonna be their 6.5 by 14 snare case. I've traveled a lot with it for years and years and years, and it's not pretty, but it hasn't let me down. And that's pretty much it. So basically, to summarize it really quick, in an ideal situation, I'm going to check my snare drum and check my cymbals, and then I'm just gonna put my stick bag with my suitcase. So in total, I'm checking 3 bags, and then I'm carrying on like a backpack for Ableton stuff, and then any track stuff that I may need. And when I'm originally booking the gig and I get hired, I make sure that it's okay that I bring three separate like check bags. And if not, then typically I'll see if Backline can either backline my cymbals or backline my snare. If I had to choose, I'll have them backline the snare, mostly because if I'm given like a bad snare, I can tune it and get it kind of close to what I like, but if I'm given bad cymbals, there's not much you can do. I hope that makes sense, and I hope that answers your question. If you do something different, I would be curious to hear your what you do. I know some guys carry on their snare drums like as a carry-on. I just never like doing that because it's too cumbersome, and if the budget is there for me to check a couple of extra bags, then I'm definitely gonna do that just for like a travel, like means of comfort more so than anything else. And also I'm pretty confident in my tuning abilities for most drum sets. So, I mean, it's fine if I don't bring my own snare, but if I can choose, I'm gonna bring my own snare. I just thought whatever that baggage claim spot in that airport was, it warranted me talking about that question. And I happened to get that question while I was flying today. So we didn't do like Christmas at my parents' house, and this trip we're seeing my parents, but it's also a work trip, but it's also like a family trip. So we're doing Christmas with them right now. I got the fireplace and all that stuff. These chocolate covered Oreo things are probably my favorite things ever. My mom she got a new iPad, and we got her, like, this was like the third or fourth order for like an iPad case, and that's actually the one that Savannah has. It's been a process, but I'm glad we finally got it. So I need just a little bit more to like make this video feel complete, and I did one of these a little bit ago. It might have been last week, and I got a lot of positive feedback. So I'm gonna do another one right now. For those of you that guessed, yes, another song walkthrough. Okay, so to give a little context behind this particular video, we were at a Fuge camp, which for those of you that don't know, Fuge camps are basically like, they're kind of like Young Life camps, but not really. They're youth camps during the summer that like take place all throughout the East Coast. And this one, we were at Ridgecrest, I believe. It's like one of the bigger ones. But yeah, this is that, and it's my in-ear mix playing. And yeah, with that, let's get into it.
Cue check.
The guy that's talking, his name's Nick. You've seen him on the vlog before.
Intro, 2,
He's Indian.
3, 4.
Big drum groove intro. Bring it back down. I was making sure that I was actually recording audio, because how I record audio is to the iRig, to my phone, from my pack, and that's what I was doing.
Verse 2.
Little fun fact: this in-ear mix was probably the worst out of the entire like thing. Basically, I didn't have any overheads, and I had like basically just kick and snare. But I fought through it, and it was fine. I'm just picky.
Chorus.
And the gates were really hot. If you didn't catch that, it would go shh. At the end, we got it dialed in. This was like the first or second night or something like that. And there's always going to be those issues.
Vamp. Verse
Hear the
3.
gate? I think the important thing to remember, like, even though like my in-ears were distracting me and stuff, is to not let that show and not be distracting to the people that are on the other side of the stage. Because half the time they're never gonna know. And like you like making faces or something like that can like, to me it's just not worth like potentially ruining somebody's encounter with the Lord, or over something trivial like your in-ears not being exactly the way you want them.
What?
And Nick again.
Chorus.
I really do love this song. It's just super, it's great. It's super solid.
Vamp.
What?
Bridge. Breakdown.
Trying to fix things with my in-ear mix.
Bridge. Drums in.
I laughed because of the hi-hat.
Four. 5. Encore 2, 3.
That was a fun fill. I love good cuts and songs. Here's my wool.
Outro. Ending.
1,
Triple fill.
2. 1, 2, 3, 4.
Then we went into like a vamp thingy. All right, so basically the biggest thing with that is my in-ears obviously weren't as good as I would like them to be. In everybody else's defense, I'm pretty picky when it comes to my in-ear mix, and I think that's just because I'm used to like recording and just looking at things under a microscope, and I'll notice like specific like frequency problems or distortions or anything, or gates that are way too strong. I have to remind myself when I'm doing like a live event like that stuff doesn't matter. Like obviously you want to do your best and you want to have it sound as good as you possibly can, but when you're sitting behind that seat or sitting behind the guitar or whatever, you're serving other people, and I think reminding yourself of that that's an important thing to do. And like I said before, like honestly most of the time, people on the other side of that stage are not gonna notice or know that your in-ear mix is trash or you completely screwed up a groove or didn't cut out when you were supposed to. I think the most important thing is to just act like everything was meant to happen that way, and not for your own pride, but for other people, and not to just to not take them out of whatever may be going on in the room with them specifically. And that's something that I have to always remind myself of, like honestly on a daily basis. Okay, I'll see you guys tomorrow. Oh, and before I forget, if you haven't subscribed or anything like that, feel free to. 5 days a week I'm posting, and yeah, okay. I'll see you tomorrow.